Mr. Blasko, how you doing, bud?
Good. Thank you, JoJo. I'm good.
Welcome back to Ohio. How was Nashville?
Nashville was wonderful. I got to take my niece, Sambo, out to dinner, and our other friend, my friend Jim and Carrie's daughter, Mackenzie. She lives there. She's going to Belmont grad school. So Sam, I, and Mackenzie went to dinner. It was super nice.
Nice.
I did all my gigs. The weather was wild. They had just gotten snow the week before, which is rare, and I mean 6, 7, 8 inches, so the place shut down because
flipping out.
Nashville's not right. They're not used to that. And, no salt trucks and plows. But it was good. But I will say this, and I will say this every time I come back from Nashville. And I apologize if you're from Nashville or Tennessee, but you are the worst drivers in the world.
So bad.
And I have driven in 49 of the 50 states, probably 5,000 different cities. I think I told you before what drives me nuts the most. They don't cheat the light. You know what that means?
Cheat the light.
Right. So, green light. I'm going to turn left. There's no arrow. So it's green light this way, green light this way. So cheating the light to me, and this is what I thought all my kids when they're driving, if you're that first car and you're trying to turn left and you're waiting for those other cars, you got to cheat the light, which means you got to creep out to the intersection.
Yes.
And as soon as that last car goes, even if it's reddish, orange, boom, you make that. In Nashville, they will sit there. The light will go yellow, red, green. They won't cheat it. Yellow, red. I'm like, you got to cheat the light.
At least one car gets to go. Yep.
They don't do it. Drives me bonkers.
Maybe there's a law that says they can. Maybe somebody told them that they'd get in trouble if they did. That's dumb.
I did start thinking that. I thought maybe in their driver's ed courses, that's one of the things they teach, don't do it. And then if you learn to drive in Tennessee, that's what you learn. So, again, to no fault of their own, but man.
In the aggregate, they make all kind of other dumb driving decisions because you're going to assume they're just terrible drivers.
They can't merge. It's nuts. It's nuts. All right, so I'm home. It's nice to be back in Youngstown. May 9th, something happened in May 9th?
I think so. I think I got something on my calendar.
Folks, if you have not put it on your calendar yet, May 9th, a night of motivation and inspiration with Joe, Brian, and my niece Sambo. It's going to be a fun evening. We got the restaurants on board with reserved seating.
We got bistro. We got federal. So you can come have dinner, hang out with us, do some drinking afterwards.
Boom. We are definitely going to tear up the strip afterward.
Yeah.
We're going to go out and have some drinks. All right, let's chit-chat about social media. So we don't have to go down the rabbit hole with regards to everything pertaining to social media. But let me ask you this, Joe. Let's say someone makes a comment on something you've made a comment about. Are you the person who will take what they say, hear it, absorb it, and not respond? Or do you feel like something in you makes you want to respond just so you can get them to see why you believe you're right or wrong?
So I'm a sponge for perspective. Sometimes just looking at something through somebody else's eyes gives you a little insight that you would not be able to assemble yourself.
Okay.
And so
that's wise.
If I dig, it's only to get a little bit more. If it's a blatant troll, fight, whatever, and there's nothing to gain by it, I got better things to do with my time.
Okay.
I won't indulge. Sometimes though, if I'm ready to just get out some negative energy, I'll pick a couple fights here and there.
Yeah. See, I think I knock on wood, I'm pretty lucky. I don't post nearly as much as you, but the stuff I post, people tend to like, and it's it's nice and happy and rainbows and butterfly kind of thing. But part of me thinks if someone came at me, my biggest thing is, even if I'm arguing with someone in my personal life, I want to get them at least to see why I'm feeling or thinking the way I am. And I realized years ago it's not worth it because it's still goes in one ear and out the other.
Let me try to help you out here.
Okay, good.
Here's what I want you to do in the future.
Okay.
I want you, like you are sort of like granting someone that they are equal to you in intelligence and insight and whatever.
By responding? Or no?
Just everybody that's out there, you're assuming that they're a person just like you.
On the same plane. Right. Okay, all right.
And in the world of the internet, that is not the case. So I want you to picture some 45-year-old failure in his parents' basement with Cheetos on a pop stained shirt, right?
Okay.
Picture that dude. And when they say, hey, bro, you're stupid, I want you to picture that person and say, do I really want to have an argument with that dude?
Okay. I like that. That's good advice.
Okay.
And that is the advice I will take, because it's not worth it to me going down that rabbit hole, because once you make that one comment, you feed into what they were wanting from you. All right. I don't know how you do it, though. I mean, I would say the majority of your comments are good. People enjoy what you say, but you're going to have those people every now and then who make a dig. And I don't mind someone digging as long as they dig respectfully and they have all the facts.
Well,
what pisses me off is if someone doesn't have the facts and they just throw out their own opinion. I always say this about opinions. Everyone is entitled. Yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. Freedom of speech. Okay, great. But just think before you say it. That's all. Just think. Yeah, you're entitled to say it, but does it mean you have to say it? You can have the entitlement, but doesn't mean you always have to say something.
Right.
That's
so when I did my radio show, I always had probably a couple dozen people that just love to, criticize and make me feel stupid and whatever. So all I did was I incorporated it, and I would actually use their comments in a segment of my show and sort of like disarm, because it didn't hurt my feelings. Like you really can't.
You didn't take it personal.
Not at all. And so like if we can just dive in and maybe mock a little bit the pointless criticisms that come through, then it's not effective. They stop doing it a little bit.
Okay.
Right? You disarm them.
It's almost like the telemarketers you dick around with.
Yes.
Right? I mean, you can't. I mean, you
that.
do. I mean, that's awesome. You just like a right in, and then they're like, they don't know what to say. It kind of disarms them.
It does.
It takes them.
And it's fun.
All right, it's fun. All right, let's talk about fun. How was Penguin City?
It was awesome.
How was the? What? Tell me about that. I was in Nashville, so I didn't get to really, see what was going on or happening. I would like to have been down there. So it was a live show.
It was a
and
live
you did
show.
It right there.
We set our table up on the stage. Fred did his show.
So we had Fast Freddy doing his
Yep,
thing? Okay.
Justin did his show. We got to talk to Aspasia and Richie, the owners of Penguin City. They got to be on the show and talk about how I love entrepreneurs. So they have a great story about putting that place together, and they're doing such a good job down there.
Okay. Are they getting musical groups and bands down there?
All the time.
And all the time, right?
Yep.
And there's a spot in the back as well, correct, for boxing
Yeah, they
and
did
things of that
boxing.
nature?
They have cornhole tournaments back there. So yeah, all your activities are in the back, and then the bar/place to eat is up front.
It's a cool venue. If you've never been there, Penguin City, it's kind of neat. All right, Cleveland Browns quarterbacks. I saw your post on that. Good luck. Is Brian Sipe still around?
I don't think so.
All right.
I don't think so.
What is your goal with regards to the quarterbacks and Cleveland? Trying to get them on for real, legit?
I'm going to try. For sure.
How do you even connect with them? Like,
so you work your network first.
Okay.
Let me share something with you, because that's nothing to do with quarterbacks, but you'll see like how I got started in this. So when I was doing my technology radio show, what I would do every Saturday morning, I would go through a list of companies and innovators, inventors, whatever, and I would see how many like contacts I can get for people, and I would send 100 emails out every Saturday. Right?
wow.
The percentage of people that actually responded were probably about 5% of those 100. Some of them were like, yeah, thanks for writing, but no thanks, kind of thing. But every couple months, I'd get one to say, well, sure, yeah, I'm in town, I'll do it. And it cost me several thousand emails to line up 2 or 3 people. But I got in such the habit of sending these messages out, and I got so good at wording it so it was succinct and got right to the point, whatever. And it started becoming more successful as I went on. So the quarterback thing, I'll probably just email every quarterback, every athlete that's ever been connected, like the Kevin Bacon theory.
Okay.
And one
6
of
degrees
those
of
people
separation
will run me to a quarterback. So if I can get, a guy that washed out of the league 12 years ago and he's a no name, he might respond to me because he's got not much going on. But if I go after, somebody who was active last year, probably not going to even give me the time of the day. So I have to get to them through somebody else for sure.
Okay, so you're not getting Watson on the...
I'm not going to get that. Well, I can't say that. Maybe,
you never know.
Maybe he will.
Listen, he's hurt. I mean, he has plenty of time to come in here. All right, I was curious about that. There was another post you made I thought was very cool, and it kind of made me think, if Joe Danyi can go on a show, what would it be? And the post, I think it was recently, was with regards to door number 1, door number 2.
Yeah,
almost like let's make a deal.
Yes.
Back in the day. And I thought that was interesting. You said, there are 3 doors. There's $1 million behind one of the doors, and you open the first door, and it's not there. So that means you have 2 doors left, and that means one of your doors. It's almost like Deal or No Deal. Remember with the briefcases? You kind of... So if you can go on a game show, what game show would Joe Danyi like to be on?
What would I be good at, or would I...
No. Oh, okay, let's do it 2 ways.
Okay.
What do you think you would excel in? And what do you think you would like to just go to because it's a historic game show? You've always saw it as a kid and wanted to be there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the cases one where the Deal or No Deal. I
Okay.
think that would be fun. The one I'd be good at that I think I might win. Let's say the Wheel of Fortune would probably be one that would be.
That's
pretty
mine.
easy. Is it?
Yeah, because I like puzzles and I
Yeah.
like figuring out stuff, whether it's a crossword, this or that. But I always thought Wheel of Fortune would be a cool. I mean, again, it's luck of the spin whether or not you can advance. But to guess those puzzles, I think Wheel of Fortune would be my go-to. I like watching them. I'm not immersed in them. Some people love the game shows. What was the one that used to be No Whammies, Press Your Luck? Remember that one?
Remember that one as a kid? You're sick.
Price
at home
is
and you
Right,
watch
right.
Price
There
is
was
Right and Press Your Luck.
Right, those were the go-to. And now there's numerous game shows that are out there. How about Jeopardy? What do you feel about Jeopardy?
You know, that one, I don't know if I'm just too dumb. Like, I would probably get one or two questions right an entire show.
When
so
I
it's
watch,
above my level.
I'm like 20%. When I watch from home, I'm like, I got 20% of the questions right. But it makes me think. Okay, with Jeopardy, I always thought, man, these people are so smart. Then I thought, is it smart or are they just people who can retain information? Because there's a
Memorize.
difference, right?
Absolutely.
If you can memorize a book and you have that photographic memory and you can memorize, then are you really smart when you know the answer from an 1800 not Civil War, that was 60?
Yeah.
So I guess 1800.
So
Is it smart or is it memorization?
now you put me with a laptop playing Jeopardy, and who can Google that shit fastest? All me.
Okay.
All day.
Right.
Access to information, not memorization of information.
Because I think even when I get an answer right, I go, I'm not smart. I just remember that. But then I guess, are you smart because you remembered it? I don't know. Jeopardy. I don't know. It's a good game show. I like to watch it. And all right, let me ask you this, and I think I know what your answer is. when Double Jeopardy comes up, or whatever, not Double Jeopardy. What's it called when you get the bonus? You could
Daily Double.
Daily Double. When the Daily Double comes up, let's say you have 5,000 on your screen. This dude has 2,500, and this lady has 1,700. So you're winning by 2,500 because you have 5,000. Daily Double comes up. What are you betting?
2501, right?
I don't know. I mean, some people bet it all. Like I've seen people say,
Okay.
because you could bet the amount that you have.
Oh, because they got it. Okay, yeah.
But knowing in your mind you're up by 2,500,
All
would
or
you
nothing. Put it all
or
on
nothing?
red.
That's
Yeah.
how I am too. I mean, it's the true daily, because people say, I'm going to make it a true Daily Double. So you have 5,000, I'm betting 5,000. You get it
Okay.
right, now I'm at 10 grand. Boom. You get it wrong, you're at zero. But
oh well, the experience.
I agree. I would do that as well. Other game shows that you...
A little thing on like The Price is Right back in the 90s. Did you know like contestants, if they won stuff, they had to immediately write checks to pay the taxes on those prizes? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So if you won a car, it was free.
Right, but you had to pay
before
the
you got to
taxes.
take it, you had to write a check out. And a lot of those people couldn't afford the taxes on
Right.
it. Ended up having to just sell it off to pay the taxes.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Right. I did know there was a tax involved, but I didn't realize they made you sign it right off.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting factoid. You're going to like this. So my parents have been passed for 11 years now. Both wonderful people. My mother was on a game show when I was a kid.
No kidding.
And the game show was concentration.
I remember concentration.
So it was me, my two older brothers, my dad stayed home with us. My mom, I think they were filming in Chicago, went with my Aunt Jerry, her sister, and she got on the game show. And she literally won like 3 or 4 days in a row.
Really?
We won a freezer, deep chest freezer full of meat for a year. She won a boat. I'm not kidding you. Like she won all our living room furniture when I was a kid, a color television set. It was unbelievable. And I would love to find the footage. I looked on the internet. You can't find it. But my dad from home took his 8mm and filmed. This was before VCRs, obviously. Filmed the TV while it was being aired. So that footage is somewhere.
Wow.
But my mom was on the show, Concentration. She was the big winner, won a boat, won a freezer full of meat, and won all our furniture.
Well, let me comment on
wild?
something you said. There's some viewer out there that's going to say he said color TV. Like, do other TVs, do they have non-colored TVs?
Back in the day. And it was that big wood console. You had this huge thing for this
Yeah.
TV.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good memory.
Yeah, but it was in Technicolor.
Right. And I don't remember it as a kid. I just know it happened, but I was so young, you know. But yeah, game shows are cool. Okay. What do you want to talk about? What else?
We got to get into Crazy Town because
I know.
I have an interview lined up later today. I'm going to be talking with one of the aerospace engineers on the Artemis project, right? And so here's my dilemma.
Wait, what's the Artemis project?
That's where we're going back to the moon.
Okay.
And so 3
Is that
years they've
through?
been
Is that through NASA? Or is that through
NASA.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got a dilemma in this, but first off, they really put me through the meat grinder to even talk to this dude. NASA has a lot of say in what we talk about and whatever. And I get to be in front of someone who understands physics way more than me. I want to talk multiverse. I want to talk time travel. I want to talk all the things I spend all this time on. So do you think I should, when I have, because there's going to be some serious people that are involved in what I say, do I risk it?
Can you go 50-50? Can you go 50% legit, regular stuff?
It's about 75% all legit about the program and whatever.
I say do it. Here's why. As much as you and I love Crazy Town, I think other people do too. I just think they're afraid to have the venue, or they don't have the platform to say it. But if you give him, now he might not say it if he knows certain things because he might get in trouble or whatever. But I think you should go Crazy Town 25%.
Okay.
In a respectful way, just do it. I mean, what are they going to do? Get mad at you and pissed off? Okay, fine.
I'm going to do it at the end just in case they want to cut it out. Then it's easy to slice off because it's very well we could, he might say something that undermines his credibility as part of the security team and whatever. I could see that. You don't want to do that.
Right.
But if it's all just speculative opinions, kind of like whatever, keep it fun. I think.
When's that interview happening?
Later tonight.
How cool! And you lined that up a while ago.
He's speaking in Boardman. He's coming back he lives in Huntsville, Alabama, at the NASA facility, and so he's coming back to speak at Boardman High School because that's where he graduated from.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And somebody said, "Hey, this dude's coming to town. You should really talk to him." And I jumped on it right away. Got scored the interview.
Wow. Are you going to go there and have it there? Are you going to bring him to the studio?
I'm going to do it from the studio, and he's going to be on a remote call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Have fun with it. The whole moon thing is incredible. You know, it was.
Well, I have to ask. Did we go there? I have to ask.
I know, and I say yes. I know there's things saying the flag's not blowing this direction. The shadows aren't coming up. They did it in a Hollywood studio. The majority of me wants to say yes, but there is that small part that thinks, all right, that was July 20th, 1969. Okay, that's the date. Neil Armstrong. Famous words. Man walks on moon. It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. I talk about that when I do my high school presentations. I talk about taking the next step in their life, just like Neil Armstrong did. But, so on. So I know the date. It's July 20th, 1969. I don't know why it's taken us so long to get back and literally walk on. Now, I know they put rovers and they put this and that on there, but has man walked on since 1969 or no? That was it. I
think that's it. Maybe other countries. I think maybe India smashed into it. They did not have a good outing.
Okay.
And I think China made one trip there. I don't know if they walked people up there, though.
But isn't it crazy? The technology we have now in 2024 that we haven't been back, that's what makes me think, did we ever go in 1969? I mean, if we could figure it out in 1969, 79, 89, 99, 109, 2019, it's been over 50 years.
Yeah.
Why haven't we not colonized the moon, but why haven't we literally been back with the dudes walking on it? I don't know. What do you think?
So I'll hit it in two parts. The first part, why we haven't been back, because I think it was really hard to go there the first time.
Okay.
And they made a lot of mistakes, and they had a lot of loss. And I don't think the NASA program could have survived it if we would have tried and had any kind of failure whatsoever.
Okay.
We were in huge competition with the Russians to go there, and so there was political, influence to actually do it. Right now, it's the other way. Everybody hates NASA, the funding for NASA. It's not valuable. And so politicians would actually take it on the chin if they actually spent the money to do it right.
Okay.
Now, whether or not, remember Unsolved Mysteries?
Oh, yeah, I remember that
show. They have a
show.
real story.
Yeah.
But then they have a depiction of it for you, right? So you can walk through. So what we saw from the moon landing was probably devised in a studio so that we can flaunt it in front of the Chinese or the Russians when we were going against them. We probably went, but there wasn't the great camera angles and the stuff that we saw. So everything we saw was fake.
Okay.
But we actually did go there. We just don't have footage of it.
Okay, because the Hollywood made up stuff actually was more appealing to the American
That's
people.
exactly
to see.
right.
Okay,
We
and
did that
the
for-
rest of the world too. We went
Yeah.
there and said, "Hey, we made it." Okay, so you believe we went, but it wasn't as
Not what we saw.
not what we saw. Okay, that makes sense. I do know one of the mistakes I always heard about was with regards to is it called the shuttle? Whatever it is that lands. So you have the shuttle that takes you off, and then
The rover?
the pod,
No,
the
not
rover.
the ro- what's it
Whatever landed on, they didn't account for when they left. There'd be weighted amount of rocks and gravel and dirt that would be. Does that make sense? Like, so when it landed,
Right.
all this stuff piled onto the, I don't want to say wheels, but whatever, the landing gear.
Okay.
So I mean, so you get, let's say you got 100 and some pounds of rock, and on each one, that's 400 or 500 pounds. I think one of the things they said was a problem was when they left, they had to get all that shit off there because they didn't account for
The extra weight.
Extra weight.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty good.
Okay.
Do you think Musk and those guys, your boys, are going to go?
Heck yeah. I think Musk is really part of this Artemis project, the
Okay.
engineering and the how to get there. But we're gonna use. See, it's really super expensive to get rockets off of Earth because of our atmosphere. We have
Okay.
to burn so much fuel to escape Earth's gravity. But the moon doesn't really have that problem. It's so much cheaper to make all of our launches happen from there. So here's another crazy thought.
boy,
You ever hear of space
okay.
elevator?
No.
All right, so you put in-ground tether into the Earth.
Okay.
And then you have basically a cable. And if you launch the counterweight into the atmosphere and you get it moving, it will actually orbit with the Earth. So you'll have this line that just apparently goes up into the sky.
And as the Earth rotates and orbits,
And then you can send an elevator up that thing, get things outside of the atmosphere, and then take the rest of the journey to the moon without having to expense all of that fuel. So you might
Wow.
have a launching station
Right.
outside of the atmosphere and another launching station on the moon.
because it's easier to launch from the moon back here than it is from
Well,
here
the
to there.
moon to Mars, like when we start
Moon to
exploring
Mars.
out.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you could jump from.
Yeah, so you don't
Wow.
have to expense all that.
So it's almost like
that
a
energy.
slingshot you up there.
Yep.
With no energy and fuel, and then once you get to that certain elevation,
Yeah,
Wow.
and the only reason we haven't
that makes sense.
the reason we haven't done it is what would happen if that counterweight that's orbiting with the Earth gets hit by something and it starts going unstable and like you know how like the air compressor hose when the thing flies off and starts, what would happen if that? I mean, you'd have this thing that nobody can grab and control and it would just be slapping into the side of the Earth. You know?
got it. I know. I figured it.
Yeah.
Release button. Push one button. Releases
Gone.
into the right. A release button. Fail safe.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, that's interesting. What else?
Do you ever hear of a gravity battery?
Gravity battery. No.
These things are freaking awesome.
Okay.
And so we solar panels, they only work half the time, of the day. So you need energy when they're
Real quick on the solar panel.
Yeah.
You don't need the sun. You just need the light.
the light. Yeah.
So
you
if
need
the
the
sun's not-
reaction of ultraviolet. Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a sunny day for the solar panels to work. They're still getting charged. Correct. Okay.
Yeah. So not as much.
Not as
The
much.
clearer that you have, the more those photons
Okay.
create the reaction and you get more energy.
Okay.
All right. So this is kind of smart. You get a bunch of solar panels, way more than you need to run things. So
Okay.
maybe the double amount. Maybe you use 10 kilowatt hours, you have 20 kilowatt hours worth. Now, 10 of those are powering your house during the day, and the other 10 are lifting a super heavy concrete weight. So there's a motor through a pulley system that's grabbing a weight and moving it up. And then when that one's done, it moves a second one, and it keeps moving these weights up. It's using the energy
Okay.
through that. Now the sun goes down. Now the motors that lift these rocks, they don't have enough power to lift the rocks. So what they do is now they start working in reverse, and those rocks start getting lowered, which spins the motor back around and then starts pushing energy back out to you. Now you have 10 kilowatts to push back into your house when the sun's not out because you put it into the gravity battery. And it's all mechanical. Like
Right.
there's no electronics in it.
So it's like not reverse engineering, but you're going to get power this way, and then when it comes back down, you're going to
Exactly.
get power pushing, almost like a, a bicycle air pump. Think of old school bicycle air pumps with a little needle about blowing up a basketball. The old ones you
Yeah.
put 2 feet on. When you pull up, air is going into it. When you push down, so a lot of people think air is just pushing in when you push down. When you pull up, I believe air is going.
Bladder's filling,
I
and
think
then
it-
you're pushing it in. Yep.
Right. So even when you pull up, air is pushing in.
Yep.
Pull down, push up, pull down, pull. It's kind of like that concept.
Yeah. These
Gravity battery.
Yeah. But it's all mechanical. It's like a lot of times the simplest solutions are the ones that are the most useful, and that's definitely solves that solar problem.
Would that be residential, commercial? I mean, across the board?
They're doing a couple of them, and they're putting them in industrial settings.
Okay.
And they're using the electricity to come off of the power plant or the plants, the manufacturing and whatnot. But eventually, you can have every neighborhood have a gravity battery, and solar farms feed it during the day, and gravity batteries power it at night.
Comes out at night and pushes.
Yeah. Because it's way better than lithium and nickel and all of these really expensive things that you need in a physical chemical battery.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you solar power your place?
Oh, yeah. I got a couple of panels.
Do you?
But experimental. I don't really have enough to run a lot of my house, but...
Do you know what specific things are running off it, or is it a certain part of the house, or is it like...
the way it works is you can inject the power into a leg of your house. So like in my case, I have a battery bank and whatever on your panel. If let's just say these 5 outlets are all part of the same leg, I turn everything off and then I plug my solar system back into it, and that leg of the panel
run those
runs.
5 things.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's neat.
Yep.
Yeah, I've always been leery with regards to solar, only because I always thought, I mean, I knew that you didn't have to have the sun blaring on something, because I knew that just the rays in and of itself, like you can get tan, right? They say if the sun's not blaring on you, but if it's an overcast day, you can still get the rays. But solar lighting, I don't, like, I'm a hard wire guy. Like my landscaping lights on my house. I have, 4 or 5 across, and then I have stuff shooting on the house, which I like. And I always feel it's a better look with hard power, I don't know, wiring.
They're brighter.
They're brighter, and they're, the main thing to me, consistent. Nothing wrong with solar panel. I'm not knocking solar lights, but I've driven by too many places where this one got a little bit brighter than this one. So now you got 5 different shades or tones of color that are just not one's dull, one's, but that's why I never liked solar, because I always thought, man, it's never going to be perfect. I like balance and symmetry. That's me. That's why I hardwire the little box. It goes on at 5 o'clock, shuts off at whatever o'clock. I like that. All right.
This is fun.
This is a good one.
All right, Brian. Thanks, man.